Welcome back guys to the Minecraft Military Force. Today we're going to review the 2024 Minecraft Military Force Arsenal Collection. It's been a year since the last update and I've reorganized this separately from World 1, added more categories so you can see, tanks, MRAP, surface-to-air missiles, trucks, the fighter jets, and back over here we have helicopters, cargo planes, and even bombers. Some of these builds, they don't have a tutorial video yet, but yeah, they're just a placeholder till I actually finish them, and maybe they might not even have a tutorial, but I will probably use it for future videos. And back over here, we also have some structures and all these ships. And if you guys want this world for yourself, I will have a download link on Patreon with Java and the Bedrock MCU world files. So first off, in this collection, I made this new logo, just says Minecraft Military Force Arsenal, and got the new Minecraft Military Force logo right there, pixelized. And the first section, I just made this entirely of tanks. Yeah, let's get started. Let's go all the way over here. All right, so first off, we have the T-62M. This is one of the Russians', I guess, older tanks, but they started putting them back into service in the Russo-Ukrainian War, including the Turtle tank back there. And here's with the Cope Cage armor, and there is two variations of that. Next up, we have the T-80BV. This is used by PMC Wagner. It's also called Siberia. When they actually went to Rostov-on-Don, I may rework this design though. And over here, we have the T-98 Vladimir, main battle tank, and the Ukrainian T-84U Oplot. They don't really have a lot of these. They both have the Store 1 system. Then we have the T-90M. This is the modernized, I guess, Russia's best main battle tank, if you don't count the T-14 Armata. And the T-80BVM, I probably will redesign this because I think you have to move the turret one block backwards, but that'll be in the future. And here's the Ukrainian version. Where it was captured, that's Bunny. And we also have some T-64BM Butlat right there with the Ukrainian camouflage. And this one is without the slat armor, so right there in the back. And then here is another T-64BVK. This is the commander's tank version, has a different antenna, I believe. And I think that's like another variant of it. All right, next up we have the T-64BV Mod 2017. Pretty much this is like Ukraine's main battle tank, and here's with the mine plows. All right, then we have the T-72B3M. This is by Thomas and myself. So I guess this is one of Russia's most common main battle tanks with Cope Cage armor. The T-72B3 variant, so this one doesn't have that ERA armor on the side skirt right there. And here it is with the Z markings, I guess. All right, now we're moving up to NATO stuff. So here is the Leclerc tank used by the French army. Then we have the Leopard 2A4. And we have the Leopard 2, okay, this is a 1A5. The older Leopard tank, the original one. Then we have the C1 Ariete tank. This is the Italian main battle tank, and there also is a camouflage variant of that. And then we have a Leopard 2A6, like that, used by the Bundeswehr, and then I also made it in the transport mode when they go on like rail cars. And we have the M1A2 Set V3. I am planning on making like other, like the regular M1A2 tanks, I guess like Set V2 and maybe some other ones, but that'll be for the future. Then we have the M1A1SA. This is what they use in Ukraine. The situational awareness variant with the woodland camouflage. And here's with the lots of ERA armor and slat armor, like that. And the Arat 1 armor on the sides. And then we have the Cat TB. This is kind of like a prototype Abrams tank looking design. Got two of them. And the one in the back is the M1 Thumper, but I believe these two are related. And here's the Challenger 2 main battle tank used by the British Army. Then we have the M4 Sherman tank used in World War II. I don't think I actually made a tutorial on this, but these are pretty much the brand new designs I made. A bunch of variations. All right, then next up we have the Iraqi Type 69 tank. This is by Montez. Quite old. And back over here, T-72M by Sunset Aurora. That was really old as well. Then we have this British Mark IV Churchill tank and this British Mark V tank by Tawfik. This is from World War One. And then we have the Wagen Tiger 1. Used it for animation. And then here's like a desert Tiger 1 tank, as well as in gray. Then here is a T-62 by Sunset Aurora. And then we have the M60 tank by An Easy Leaf. Cold War era. And the Type 99A tank used by the Chinese Army. And the T-14 Armada. And this is by Delta. People keep asking for a redesign of this, even though there's like 3 versions of that, by the way. I don't know why. And then we have the K2 Black Panther by Zytrix and myself. And the Type 10 tank Hitomaru by Laffy, used by the Japanese Ground Self-Defense Force. And then we have the Swedish Stridsvagn 103 S tank by Hesok and myself. And then we have the T-3485. This is the Soviet. Then we have the Israeli Merkava Mark 4M windbreaker with the APS trophy system. And there's like 3 different ones because, you know, the sand, it often changes the color for weathering purposes. All right, now we have a new category. It's called transport, basically like tank transports. So this is by Laffy. It's the MAN SLT-2 Mammut, used by the Bundeswehr. Then we have the U.S. Army, the Oshkosh M1070. This is the A0 variant with the tractor and with the trailer like that. And then here is the A1 variant of it. So you can see the front grills, they're different. And I guess they don't have that bump on the roof. And then here's what it looks like. And then here I have it with a helmet on the back of that. All right, next category is going to be assault gun. First off, we have the Stug 3 by Kayado and myself. It's from World War II. And then we have the Japanese Type 16 MCV and some strikers. These are by Mark Tetra and myself. So this is the MGS mobile gun system. So I have a long gun on top of these strikers. And over here, this is the AMX-10 RCR used by the French Army and also Ukraine. And we have an MTLB. This is the 12. It's an anti-tank gun. You know, I think this is like an infield modification. And then we have some Soviet 2S1 Golstika and the 2S3 Akatsiya self-propelled howitzers. And then we have Recon, this new category. So it's going to be the FV-101 Scorpion, I think used by the Irish Army. And then we have the Fennec. We have the German one and the Netherlands one with the flag right there. Basically, it's like a scout car. And then we have the BRDM-2. It's a Ukrainian, like that. And then we have a simplified one. I mean, just no camouflage. I mean, the next category, armored fighting vehicle, can apply to like virtually every one of these, but these are just like for these types of vehicles that I don't know where to put them. This one is the Boxer, used by the Royal Dutch Army, built by Mark Tacha. It's probably a bit dated now with the camouflage. And then here's the open hatch, so it does have an interior. And then we have the BMT Terminator. So this is one of Rush's new toys. And yeah, here's a bunch of variants with that. All right, next up is going to be LUV, so light utility vehicle, such as the Humvee right there. And we have a bunch of different variants of that, including medical one and up armored variants. And we have the Soviet. This is the UAZ 452 Scooby-Doo van. And then next to that, it's going to be the 469, also made by UAZ. It's like a Jeep. All right, and then we have the actual Willys Jeep. And yeah, there's a lot of different variations. And then over here, we have the Warhog. This is built by Kabi. Pretty nice looking for 1.5 to 1 scale. Maybe it's 2 to 1 scale. I don't know. And then we have by Mick Alpaca. This is the Toyota Hilux Technical. So I believe he was making it for like some South Africa and Namibian war, something like that. And then over here is the M1117 Guardian, armored security vehicle built by myself and Mark Tacha. And then next up is going to be the ATF Dingo 2. And then we have the German SDFKZ 251 half track by Kayado. And then here are some strikers by Mark Tacha. A lot of variations here. And then back here it's M3 half track built by myself and Hyperdog. Then next up we have this regular MTLB like that. And then we have the M113 armored personnel carrier by Thomas and myself. And we also do have the command post variant right there, as well as ambulances. And then we have the GATS Tigger, like that. And we're moving up to a new category called MRAP, Mine Resistant Ambush Protected. So first off, by Hesok, this is the Cougar HE. I probably need a new design on this. And then this one has one less axle. Then we have the Oshkosh LATV by Hesok as well. And there's with a different turret on top. And here's the Max Pro MRAP by Minerals and Guren, like that. And then here is a Buffalo MRAP by Hesok, one that's all really huge. Then we have the RG33, South Africa origin. And I guess this one's an ambulance version of it. And here's the RG31 Nyla. Also same company, I think. All right. Then we have the MATV from Oshkosh. A bunch of different variations here. And then we have the Russian Kamaz Typhoon K MRAP, as well as the military police variant with the red stripe. All right, next up, infantry fighting vehicles. So I think generally these are like either 20 or 30 millimeter guns. All right, then we have the Russian BMP-2 and the BMP-3. You can see these things are different because the turret's more in the front for this one. And then also added a camouflage variant with the turret facing backwards. And then back over here, this is used by the VDV, the BMD-4M. So this one's much smaller than the other one, but they look pretty similar. Then we have the M2 Bradley and the Marder 1A3 from Germany. And the Ukrainian BTR-4, I don't know how to say, Bucephalus, like that. Camouflage variant as well. Then over here, the Puma from the German army, made by Laffy and myself. And then we have the BTR-82A and the BTR-80. Next up is amphibious category. Now, it's probably some of these are, mixing categories, but whatever. I needed a place to put them. So these are used by the VDV as well, the BTR MDM, it's an armored personnel carrier, so it doesn't have that gun on top. And the Marine Corps LAV-25 and the Fuchs TPZ-1 German. And World War II, used by the US, the LVT-4, it's the Water Buffalo, built by Hesok and myself. This one's with the platform going down. And there's a Willys Jeep inside of it. Then we have the Marine Corps again, the AAV-7 Amtrak. Not related to the other Amtrak. And I guess this one has different armor inside. So next up we have boat. Just like little water vessels. So the US Coast Guard Defender boat by Montez. This is a really cool little build. And this is by Kayado. And myself, this is the Higgins boat used on the D-Day landings. So next up, new category is going to be rocket. So lots of MLRS. So here's the iconic HIMARS, frequently seen in Ukraine in the news. And this is also used in Ukraine, in Russia. BM-21 Grad. And we have the TOS-1A. It's a thermobaric weapon. Maybe the name is longer than that, but whatever. I have a couple different variations here and some with the landing gear down. And here's basically the loader version to load up the ammunition for that. And here's the M270 MLRS from the US. So next up, we're moving into surface-to-air missiles, so SAMs basically. So this one's an older kind of design. It's the Panzer S1. And we have the S400 built by Mark 28. I think this one needs a redesign for this part in particular because it should be slanted, but here it's straight. And here's the Iraqi Scud built by Sunset Aurora, the transport erector launcher. And then here is this really large, this is Topple M built by Noodles, used by Russia to launch their nuclear missiles. And then we have the Panzer S2. So you can see the radar is different from the S1, which is more rectangular. And then we have the Neptune. This is Ukrainian on a Tatra truck anti-ship missile launcher. Then we have the Oshkosh Patriot tractor. So there is a Patriot in the back of this. And here I have it in separate pieces. So in launch mode, it looks like that. All right, and then next up we have some Humvees. These are the Avengers. And then here I have it turning like that. And then we have THAAD. This intercepts missiles. And then over here, this is the Finnish Unimog 5 Asrad R. And then we have some missiles over here. Now, they're not all SAMs. So right over here, we have that Kinzhal, used by Russia. think these are like cruise missiles. And then we have ATACMS, long range. And then here we have Storm Shadow. And then over here, this is the Strela 10 SAM. It's mounted on an MTLB. All right, next up we have anti-aircraft gun. It's built by Laffy, the Flak 88. Really iconic German anti-air and even anti-tank gun. And here we have a MTLB with 2 M3 conversions. So I think there's like an anti-air turret or something from a ship. And then here we have the C-Ram built by myself and Leaf. I think I am working on a replacement for this though. All right, next up we have artillery. So these are lots of howitzers probably. So over here we have the G6 Rhino. From South Africa. And then here is the Soviet Mastas S howitzer. And here's like one of it that has been burned down. And here's the PZH 2000 from Germany and the M109 Paladin. I also need to replace this. This is really old by Sean. And here's the M777 by Leaf. And then here is the M119, also by Leaf. All right, so the next category is kind of new. It's 2.5:1 scale. Like originally I had some plan to make a lot of vehicles, redo them in 2.5:1 scale because you can add a lot more detail, but the plans fell through. So these are kind of like incomplete builds. We're gonna look at them anyways. So right over here, we have a bunch of KAMAZ trucks like that. And then we have some HEMET. You know, you can tell this one's like the wrecker version of it. Then we have a tanker version of it and the regular one. Then we have the M1A2 Abrams tank and Humvee. These ones did in fact get tutorials and are complete. And we have this HIMARS here in the back. And then we have some Sherman tanks like that. The Tiger 1 tank, Panzer S2, the Gas Tiger, and the Striker MGS. And a BTR 82A and the Oshkosh M ATV. I guess while we're at it, I also was making some aircraft as well. So here's the F-16 Fighting Falcon and the Ka-52, as well as the Mi-24P. But again, I never really completed most of them. They're kind of like rough designs, but usually I would work on them a bit more. All right, so the next category is fuel. So here, this is used by the U.S. Air Force, I think, the R11 refueler truck. And then next to that, we have some HEMET tankers like that. Then we're going to move up to the trucks category. So I thought this one was a tanker, but it's actually a decontamination vehicle, the ARS 14. And it has a ZO131 chassis. And over here is the KAMAZ trucks. So we have some variations here with the wheels and the markings. And then we have the MTV. So yeah, again, lots of different variations of that. And this one's also an additional KAMAZ variant with the armored module. And I guess this one's like a command center or something like that. All right, then we have the Ural truck over here and this like Cold War era M923. Used by the U.S. Army. And then this is pretty new. This is the RMMV UTF 8x8 from Germany. From Deutschland. And then we have some PLS systems, so palletized load system, basically mounted on some Oshkosh HEMETs. Lots of different variations here, and the regular HEMET trucks like that. All right, next up is the military engineers. So, let's start off over here. Got the Russian excavators from KAMAZ and Ural. Then we have the KAMAZ bridge like that. So these things can fold out and then they can fold up like this. And this one's like a smoke generator like that. Then we have the M1150 assault breacher used by the US Army. Now it's in Ukraine. Pretty cool. And we have another bridge layer, the Wolverine Assault Bridge by An Easy Leaf. And that's what it looks like without it. And this is by Bob, the M9 ACE. And then we have the M88 Armored Recovery Vehicle. And this is about by An Easy Leaf. Alrighty, so yeah, let's go over to this section. It's not really a section, it's just like the Schwere, which means heavy Gustav gun. It's a German World War II era railway gun. Probably one of my cooler looking builds, even though it's kind of old. It still looks good. And then here we have some DODX flat cars. These are used to transport Abrams tanks. You can fit into car. And here I have a Tiger 1 tank on this German Schwerer Plattformwagen Type 80. And over here is the Star Wars Clone Wars ATTE. And this is built by Elder Wizard. All right, next up, let's move up to some structures over here. So we have some aircraft hangars. And these are built by an Easy Leaf. They call it aircraft shelters. Then we have this military tent I built like that. I don't know why, but there's apparently no sign at the front of that. And then here is the foxhole. Pretty simple design, but yeah, this was also a very popular tutorial. And here we have this German naval mine from World War II. And we have, of course, the military porta potty. It's essential to your military base because everyone poops. And here I have some bollard systems so you can pull them down, track them. I'm surprised it actually works in this world. And then over here we have the HESCO barrier wall. When I always made the tutorial, I made it brown, but I probably should have used like a tan color like oak, but oh well. And over here we have the M1A1 Thompson submachine gun used in World War II, also known as the Tommy gun. And then over here, this one's built by Martacha and myself. This is a C-130 aircraft hangar. So if you go in night vision, you can see the inside of it. Pretty nice if you guys want a building to host aircraft. All right, and then over here in the front, it's going to be some F-16 fighter jet hangars. So go inside here, you can see the F-16 loaded. This is really well detailed, and it does have its tutorials. So if you guys want to build this, you can. And then here's what it looks like emptied. And these two are actually paired together. And then we have the A-10 Warthog hangar. This one's longer and wider. Like that. Also very well detailed. It's from Osan Air Base. All right, so now let's move on to the ships. So right over here we have the Fletcher class destroyer. This is built by Laffey. Then we have the Type 7C U-boat, also built by Laffey, used by the Kriegsmarine. Then built by Martacha, this is the Freedom class, used by the US Navy. Littoral combat ship. And over here, this is like one of the only 1-to-1 scale builds. So this is back when I really decided 1.5-to-1 scale is good for ships, because back then a lot of people also did 1-to-1. But this is built by Comintern, and this is the Fubuki class destroyer, used by the Imperial Japanese Navy. And then we have the Ticonderoga class cruiser, built by Sketzy, and he also made this Arlink Burke class destroyer. This one's the Flight 1 because it doesn't have the hangar in the back. And then behind, this is built by Shu. This is the Moskva. It's a Slava class cruiser. I plan to make an animation with this someday. And then we have the USS Wisconsin's Io class battleship built by Vane Shinden. And then also by Shu, this is the Kirov class battle cruiser. We have the Peter the Great and the Kirov. And these are just like Soviet ships. And then back over here, we have the Abukuma Destroyer Escort or Abukuma Frigate, used by the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force. I do need to redesign this. And I'm actually working on a redesign because it doesn't have a hole in the bottom. That's for another day. And then here is the Hayabusa class patrol boat. It's also like a missile boat to intercept North Korean spy boats. And then here we have some LCACs, landing hovercraft basically, used by the U.S. Marine Corps, built by Mick Alpaca. All right, so our last section here this is also a pretty cool section because they now have these apron marking lines for the parking. It's a new design that I came up with, and I think it looks very organized now compared to before, and it also fits in the theme than just having white lines. All right, so first off, let's start here in the middle. Here we have the Mikoyan MiG-29 Ukrainian. This is the Polish Air Force, and we have the Russian Air Force. And next to that, we have the F-16s. These are the Fighting Falcons and the Thunderbirds livery. Then we have the F-14 Tomcat, like that. And the FA-18. These are built by Martacha. This is Super Hornets. Folded up. And then I made this into the Blue Angels livery. Then next, we have the F-15E Strike Eagle. So these are used for air-to-ground missions. And then here's the regular Eagle, the F-16C, and here's the F-35. So I did make a bunch of variations like the A, the B, and the C. So you can see it like that. And then we have the F-22 Raptor, the best fighter jet in the world, 5th generation. And here is the Harrier II. That one's also really, really old. Then we have the Su-33 used on carriers by the Russian Navy. And the Su-27, this is a Ukrainian Air Force livery, one of my favorite liveries for that aircraft. And then here we have the Royal Red Arrows, built by Hyperdog. And then here is the Su-30 SM, and this is built by Toxile. And then here he has a couple different variations of it and the color, and this one's flying. And over here, this is the Gripen. This is by Just Ill Saab, so I think it's Swedish. And then here's the regular F-16 Fighting Falcon. Now Ukraine actually owns some. And here's the Japanese F-2 from Mitsubishi. And then here is the German Air Force Euro Typhoon. And I will have to fix this better. I think when I was importing the world, the banner's just glitched up like that. Then here is the Royal Air Force variation. This one, that banner's actually working. All right, and then I guess we'll move up to the next row over here. So over here, this is by Omega, also known as Maverick. This is the EA-6B Prowler. So electronic warfare used on carriers. And this one is from Ace Combat 7, the Vyvrin. I don't know how to say it. Vyvrin? I haven't played Ace Combat, but I do have their music. And this is by Neko Crane. This is the Chengdu J-20, the Chinese fighter jet. The MiG-23 MF flogger, used by the Hungarian Air Force. And the Su-57, made by Hesok. Maybe we do need to redesign that one. And this is the Dassault Rafale by Hyperdog and myself. All right, now I'm going to move up to this section. So this has some World War II aircraft, like the A6M0. We have a bunch of variations here. The P-51 Mustang, this is by Subby. And the Messerschmitt Me-262 by Kayato and myself. And also by Subby, this is Spitfire, Supermarine. Did I say that backwards? Whatever. And then we have the MEBF 109. Next up, we have the F4U Corsair by Kabi and myself. The Soviet Yakovlev Yak-3 by Kayato and myself. And here is a World War I biplane by Hayam Pat. The Sopwith Camel. I believe there's a Lego set of that. And then here we have some B5N2 Kates by Laffy and myself. I think it's like some kind of like a bomber. And over here is the MiG-25 Foxbat, made by Hesok 05. And now we have this AWACS. There's just one aircraft in this category. It's just the E2 Hawkeye with the radar dish on top. Folded up wings. And here is the U2 Dragon Lady, made by Citrix. And behind that, the SR-71 Blackbird. Really fast plane. All right, so we're done with this row. Next row is going to be attack aircraft. So first off, we have the F-117 Nighthawk, made by Evo and myself, used in Iraq. And over here, this is the Super Tucano by Kabi. And here is the iconic A-10 Warhawk, or Thunderbolt 2. And this is by Mr. Sweet. This is the Sukhoi Su-25 Frogfoot. All right, our next category is going to be helicopters, so we have a lot in this row. So first off, we have a bunch of Mi-8s or Mi-17s. These are mainly like Ukrainians. And over here we have the Russian Mi-8 AMT-SH. So these are like assault helicopters, have in different colors and liveries. And here we have the Chinook. This probably needs a redesign badly. This is built by an Easy Leaf and myself. And over here is another Mi-17. And this is the V-22 Osprey, made by Asguindare, who's a French builder. And over here, this is the Dolphin helicopter by Montez Crafty and Macalpaca. And you might be like, why is there 3 people making this one little aircraft? I don't know, man. All right, next up we have the CH-53 Super Stallion by Hesok 05 and the AW-101 HM2 Merlin by Hyperdog. And then here we have the Ka-52 Alligator Russian attack helicopter, and this is like a smaller one, the Ka-27 Search and Rescue helicopter used on the aircraft carrier probably in Navy aviation. And then here's the Mi-28 attack helicopter. It's like the Russian Apache. And here's the actual AH-64 Apache. And here is a Little Bird by an Easy Leaf. And here's the Cobra by Kabi and myself. And then by Hesok, he made the Seahawk and Black Hawk helicopters. And I made that Huey in the back, used in Vietnam. And then here we have a Ukrainian Mi-24P Hind gunship. And then I made some Mi-35s for the Russian Air Force, like that. All right, next category is UAV or drones. So we have a bunch of different drones here. So first off, we have the MQ-1C Grey Eagle by an Easy Leaf. The Reaper, this is by an Easy Leaf as well. Then we have the Bayraktar. And here's the really large Global Hawk by Martecha and myself. And then next row is going to be the Shadow by an Easy Leaf. And I made this Lancelet 3. It was really, really tiny. So yeah, I just made it like that. And then we have the Shawhead. And here it is on that. It's Iranian, but used by Russia. All right, so the next row is going to be cargo. So first off, we have the C5M Super Galaxy. This is built by Sketsy. Well, maybe like the largest U.S. Air Force plane. And then here we have the C-27 by Mika Alpaca. And behind that, we have this really old C-47 Skytrain by Mika Alpaca. And I am working on a redesign for this. I don't know if it's going to be done anytime soon though. And then here's the C-17 Globemaster 3. This is by Mika Alpaca, myself, and Sunset Aurora. Also help improve the design. Like, I don't know if I should redesign this or not. Like, how does this look in 2024? You guys let me know if this still looks good or I need to redesign this. And then over here we have the Russian Air Force Ilyushin IL-76, one of their main cargo transporters. And this is by Zytrix. This is the Airbus A400M Atlas. And then I think this badly needs a redesign, the C-130 Hercules by Mika Alpaca. And in Easy Leaf, he made this AC-130U spooky gunship. And over here I have the Antonov An-225 Myra. It's a Ukrainian plane that was destroyed, like the largest plane that was still existing today. And I also made the Halo 3 Pelican from the UNSC. And have the landing gears out like that, and then the flying version. All right, next row is going to be bombers. So lots of bombing aircraft. So this is the B-24J Witchcraft, like that. And behind that we have a Stuka dive bomber. And over here is the B-29 Super Fortress by Martacha. And then here is the B-17 by Kabi and myself. And over here is the B-1B Lancer. I have it with the wings swept out and swept back like that. And here's the Russian Tu-95 Bear by Zytrix. And behind that we have the F-4 Phantom II. Over here we have the B-2 Bomber. This is built by Hisok, and one of the coolest designs. And the B-52 Bomber by An Easy Leaf. And over here, this is the Sukhoi Su-24M Fencer. And yeah, I will be making a Ukrainian one. And our last aircraft is the KC-10 Tanker by Mika Alpaca. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the arsenal. If you guys want this world for yourself, I will leave a download link on my Patreon. And there will be a Java and Bedrock MC world file available, so you can use any version of Minecraft. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do, hit the like button down below, subscribe if you haven't already, check out our Discord, and I'll see you guys in the next one.